A 17-year-old nobody took 4 bullets for a girl he'd never met. He died for 47 seconds. When he woke up, he discovered the girl was the daughter of the Hells Angels vice president, and the shooters were a rival gang seeking revenge. Marcus Cole had been invisible his entire life. But when he threw himself between Elena Reyes and 4 gunmen, he became the most important person in the most dangerous family in the state. This is the story of how a boy with nothing became a man with everything worth fighting for. If this satisfies your heart, please like, comment, and follow. Marcus Cole was used to being invisible. Not metaphorically, literally. Teachers forgot to call his name during attendance. Classmates looked through him like he was made of glass. Even at work, customers spoke past him, ordering their food from the air beside his head. 17 years of not mattering. 17 years of being a ghost in his own life. Tonight was no different. Wednesday shift at Rosie's Diner, 6 p.m. to close. Wipe the tables, refill the coffee, smile at people who would never remember his face. The only person who had ever truly seen Marcus was dying. Rosa Cole, his grandmother, his only family, had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. 3 months left, maybe less left. She was in Mercy Hospice across town, waiting for the end, and Marcus was here, earning $9.50 an hour to pay for the parts of her care that Medicare wouldn't cover. He should be with her, should be holding her hand, listening to her stories, soaking up every minute he had left. Instead, he was wiping ketchup off table 7. "Order up," Manny called from the kitchen. Marcus grabbed the plates, cheeseburger deluxe and a chicken salad, and carried them to the booth by the window. A girl sat there, maybe 16 or 17, dark hair, sharp eyes. Pretty, in a way that made Marcus nervous. She was texting on her phone, not looking up. "Your food?" Marcus said. "Thanks." She still didn't look at him, didn't see him. Nobody ever did. Marcus walked back to the counter, picked up his rag, and continued his invisible existence. That's when the door exploded. Not exploded literally, but it might as well have. 4 men burst through wearing black leather, faces twisted with purpose. The first one raised something metallic, a gun. Marcus's brain processed it in fragments. Gun, pointed, at the booth, at the girl. He didn't think. He ran. 3 steps across the diner, his body moving faster than his mind could follow. The girl looked up, finally seeing him, finally seeing something, as Marcus crashed into her, shoving her down, covering her body with his own. The first bullet hit his shoulder. The force was unbelievable, like being punched by God. The second hit his ribs, something cracked, something wet. The third grazed his spine. Lightning shot down his legs. The fourth punctured his lung. The world went red, then white, then black. Marcus heard screaming. Might have been him. Might have been the girl. Might have been everyone. Then nothing. He died at 9:47 p.m. 47 seconds of nothing. No light, no tunnel, no dead relatives waiting, just absence. The paramedics brought him back with paddles and prayers and sheer stubborn refusal to let a 17-year-old die on their watch. "We've got a pulse! Let's move!" Marcus didn't hear them, didn't feel them loading him into the ambulance, didn't feel the surgeon's hands as they cut him open and pulled bullets from places bullets should never be. He was somewhere else, somewhere dark and quiet and almost peaceful, until the pain brought him back. Victor Viper Reyes got the call at 10:23 p.m. He was at the clubhouse going over books with Diesel and Piston when his phone rang. Private number. He almost didn't answer. "Yeah? Mr. Reyes? This is Dr. Sanjay Patel at St. Vincent's Hospital. Your daughter Elena was involved in a shooting tonight. She's uninjured, but..." Viper was already moving, keys in hand, brothers following without being asked. "What happened? Where is she?" "She's here. She's safe. But there's something else you should know. A young man, a bystander. He stepped in front of the bullets meant for her. He's in surgery now, critical condition." Viper's blood went cold. "Who?" "His name is Marcus Cole, 17 years old. Works at the diner where the shooting occurred. Is he going to make it?" "I don't know, Mr. Reyes. He took 4 bullets. One collapsed his lung. One nicked his spine. He died on scene and was resuscitated. It's bad. Viper ended the call. His hands were shaking. Victor Viper Reyes, VP of the Hells Angels, a man who had killed without flinching, whose name made grown men cross the street. His hands were shaking. What happened? Diesel asked. Someone tried to kill my daughter. A kid stopped them, took 4 bullets for her. Who was it? The shooters. Viper's jaw tightened. I'm going to find out. Elena was in the waiting room when he arrived. She ran to him the moment he walked through the door, throwing herself into his arms, sobbing in a way he hadn't seen since she was a little girl. Daddy, I'm sorry. I didn't know they'd find me. I was just getting food. I didn't... Shh. It's okay, you're safe. The boy who saved me, is he still in surgery? Elena pulled back. Her face was streaked with tears, but her eyes were fierce. He didn't even know me. He saw the guns and he ran. Toward me, not away. Her voice broke. Who does that? Who throws themselves in front of bullets for a stranger? A Viper didn't have an answer. In his world, people killed for strangers all the time, but dying for them? That was something else entirely. What do you know about him? Nothing. He was just a busboy. I didn't even look at him when he brought my food. Elena's face crumpled with guilt. I didn't even see him, and he still saved me. A doctor appeared in the doorway. Young, exhausted, scrubs stained with blood. Family of Marcus Cole? Viper stepped forward. I'm his family. The doctor hesitated. Sir, the patient's records show. I said I'm his family. What's his condition? He's out of surgery. We removed all 4 bullets, repaired the lung, stabilized the spine. He's in the ICU now. The doctor paused. He's going to make it, but the recovery will be long and expensive. He doesn't have insurance. There's no emergency contact listed. No parents. No. Money's not a problem. Whatever he needs, he gets. Best surgeons, best equipment, private room. Sir, the costs could exceed... Did I stutter? Viper's voice was ice. Whatever. He needs... The doctor nodded quickly and disappeared. Elena stared at her father. Who is he, Dad? The boy? Viper looked at the doors Marcus had been wheeled through, at the trail of blood still visible on the floor. I don't know yet, but I'm going to find out everything. Marcus woke up 3 days later. The first thing he noticed was the pain, everywhere, all at once, like his body had been rebuilt wrong. The second thing he noticed was the room, private, flowers everywhere, a TV mounted on the wall, currently showing a muted news broadcast. The third thing he noticed was the man sitting in the corner. He was massive. Shaved head, leather vest, tattoos crawling up his neck. He looked like death personified. Marcus tried to speak, managed a croak. Easy. The man stood, moved closer. You've been out for 3 days. Don't try to talk yet. Marcus tried anyway. Who are you? My name is Victor Reyes. People call me Viper. He pulled up a chair next to the bed. You saved my daughter's life. Took 4 bullets for a girl you'd never met. The diner. The guns. The girl. It came flooding back. Is she okay? Not a scratch. Thanks to you. Viper studied him with eyes that had seen everything. Why did you do it? You didn't know her. Didn't owe her anything. Why did you step in front of those bullets? Marcus thought about it, about the split second between seeing the guns and moving, about the absolute absence of hesitation. I don't know, he said honestly. I just saw her, and I couldn't let them hurt her, couldn't just watch. Most people would have hit the floor, saved themselves. I'm not most people. No. Viper's voice softened. You're not. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Viper spoke again. I know about your situation, Marcus. No parents. Grandmother with cancer. Working double shifts to pay for her care. He leaned forward. That's over now. What do you mean? I mean, you saved the most important person in my world. You almost died for her. Did die, technically. Viper's jaw tightened. I don't forget debts, and this is a debt I'm going to spend the rest of my life repaying. You don't owe me anything. Yes, I do. Viper stood. Your grandmother's being moved to the best oncology center in the state. Full treatment, experimental therapies, whatever gives her the best shot. Paid for. Marcus's heart stuttered. What? Your hospital bills? Gone. Your recovery? Covered. When you're healed, there's a place for you. With us. With the club. I don't understand. Viper put a hand on his shoulder, gentle despite the rough exterior. You were invisible, Marcus. I looked into your life. No one saw you. No one cared whether you lived or died. His voice dropped. That changes today. From now on, your family, my family, and family protects its own. Marcus felt something crack in his chest. Not from the bullets, from something deeper. Why? He whispered. I'm nobody. You're wrong. Viper's eyes held his. You're the man who saved my daughter, and that makes you everything. The door opened. Elena walked in. She looked different than she had at the diner, softer somehow, despite the sharp features. Her eyes were red from crying. You're awake. Yeah. She crossed to the bed, sat on the edge, took his hand. Marcus flinched at the contact. He couldn't remember the last time someone had touched him willingly. Thank you, Elena said. I know that's not enough. I know words can't repay what you did, but thank you. Thank you for saving my life. Marcus didn't know what to say, so he said the only thing he could think of. You're welcome, Elena laughed. A wet, broken laugh. I didn't even look at you. In the diner, you brought me my food, and I didn't even look up from my phone. And you still. It doesn't matter. It matters to me. She squeezed his hand. I'm going to spend the rest of my life making it matter. Marcus looked at her, at Viper, at this impossible situation he'd found himself in. 3 days ago, he was nobody, invisible, a ghost waiting to disappear completely. Now he was lying in a hospital bed, being told he was family by the most dangerous people he'd ever met. The shooters, he said. Who were they? Viper's expression darkened. Demon Riders, a rival club. Their leader, Razor, has a grudge against me. I killed his brother 5 years ago. His voice was flat. They came for Elena to hurt me, and they're going to pay for it. What are you going to do? Viper smiled. It was not a nice smile. I'm going to find every single one of them, and I'm going to make sure they never hurt anyone again. He walked toward the door, then stopped. Rest, Marcus. Heal. When you're ready, we'll talk about your future. He left. Elena stayed, still holding Marcus's hand. He likes you, she said. I've never seen him like this with anyone outside the club. I almost died for his daughter. I think that buys some goodwill. It buys more than that. Elena's eyes met his. It buys a family, if you want it. Marcus thought about his empty apartment, his dying grandmother, his invisible life. Yeah, he said quietly. I think I want it. Elena smiled. It was the first warm thing Marcus had felt in years. Maybe being visible wasn't so bad after all. The hunt began immediately. While Marcus recovered, Viper mobilized every resource the Hells Angels had. Contacts in law enforcement, eyes on the street. Brothers in every city between Phoenix and the Mexican border. The Demon Riders had made a fatal mistake. They had come for Elena in broad daylight, in a public place, with witnesses. They had expected to kill her and disappear. They hadn't expected a 17-year-old busboy to become a human shield. We've got names, Diesel reported at the emergency meeting 3 days after the shooting. 4 shooters, all confirmed Demon Riders, led by a guy named Snake, Razor's right hand. Where are they? Scattered. They know we're coming. Razor's got them in safe houses across 3 states. Viper's jaw tightened. Then we check every safe house. Every ally, every hole they might crawl into. That's going to take time, and men, and it's going to get bloody. I don't care if it takes years. I don't care how bloody it gets. Viper stood, his presence filling the room. They tried to kill my daughter. They almost killed a kid who had nothing to do with our war. There is no hole deep enough for them to hide. Piston, a 20-year veteran of the club, raised his hand. What about the kid? Marcus? What about him? He's a loose end, witness to a gang shooting. If Razor finds out he survived, he might try to finish the job. The room went quiet. Viper hadn't considered that. He'd been so focused on revenge that he'd missed the obvious. Marcus was still in danger. Post guards at the hospital, round the clock. Nobody gets near that room without my approval. And if the demon riders try something? Viper's smile was cold. Then we'll have more bodies to bury. Marcus learned about the guards on day 5. He woke from a fitful sleep to find 2 massive bikers stationed outside his door. They nodded at him through the window, but didn't speak. Elena explained when she visited that afternoon. Dad's worried Razor might come for you. You're a witness, and you're connected to us now. That makes you a target. Great, I went from invisible to target. Not sure that's an upgrade. It's not funny, I know. Marcus shifted in the bed, wincing at the pain in his ribs. I just don't know how to process any of this. A week ago, my biggest problem was paying for Grandma's medicine. Now I've got gang wars and bodyguards. How is your grandmother? Dad said he moved her to St. Luke's. Marcus felt the familiar tightness in his chest. She's better. The new doctors say the cancer might be more treatable than they thought. They're trying some experimental therapy. That's good, right? It's expensive. Your dad's paying for everything. I can't... Stop. Elena took his hand. She'd been doing that a lot, and Marcus still hadn't gotten used to it. You saved my life. My dad has more money than he knows what to do with. Let him spend it on something good for once. It doesn't feel right. Taking charity. It's not charity. It's family taking care of family. I'm not family. Elena's grip tightened. You are now, whether you like it or not. Marcus looked at her. At this girl he'd taken bullets for without knowing her name, at the fierceness in her eyes, the stubbornness in her jaw. Why do you keep coming here? He asked. You don't owe me anything. I told you. I'm spending the rest of my life making it matter. Making what matter? The fact that I didn't see you. Elena's voice cracked slightly. I was so wrapped up in my own world, my phone, my problems, my drama, that I didn't even look at the person serving me food. And that person almost died for me. That's not your fault. Maybe not, but I'm going to do better. Starting with you. She smiled. So get used to me, Marcus Cole. I'm not going anywhere. The first demon rider fell 2 weeks after the shooting. Snake, the leader of the attack, was found in a motel outside Tucson. The details of what happened never made it into official reports, but word spread through the underground. He talked before he died, gave up locations, names, plans. The second and third fell within days of each other. The fourth tried to run to Mexico and didn't make it past the border. Razor was all that remained. The leader of the demon riders had gone to ground, vanished. No one knew where he was hiding, but everyone knew he was planning something. He won't stop, Viper told the club. I killed his brother. He tried to kill my daughter. This only ends when one of us is dead. We could wait him out, Diesel suggested. He can't hide forever. Every day he's out there. Eleanor's in danger. Marcus is in danger. Everyone connected to this club is in danger. Viper shook his head. We need to draw him out. How? The silence stretched. Then Piston spoke. The kid, Marcus. What about him? Razor doesn't know we're protecting him. If we make it look like Marcus is alone, vulnerable, he might try to finish what his boys started. You want to use a 17-year-old as bait? I want to end this war before anyone else dies. Viper's face was unreadable. Marcus gets a choice. I'm not putting him in danger without his consent. He's already in danger. Then he gets to decide how he wants to face it. They asked Marcus the next day. He was out of the ICU by then, moved to a regular room, starting physical therapy for the damage to his spine. The doctor said he'd walk again, might even run again eventually, but it would take months. Viper laid out the plan simply. Make Marcus visible. Let Razor think he was unprotected. When Razor made his move, the Hell's Angels would be waiting. You don't have to say yes, Viper emphasized. You've already done more than anyone could ask. If you want to stay out of this, we'll find another way. Marcus thought about it. He thought about the diner, about the bullets, about the 47 seconds of nothing. He thought about Elena, who visited every day, about Rosa, who was responding to treatment for the first time in months, about the family that had formed around him from nowhere. "If I do this," he said slowly, "Rosa dies." "Yes. And Elena's safe? For good?" "For good." Marcus nodded. "Then I'll do it. You're sure?" "I already died once for people I care about. Might as well risk it again." Viper looked at him with something approaching respect. "You've got more courage than men twice your age, Marcus. I've got nothing to lose. That makes courage easy." "You're wrong." Viper put a hand on his shoulder. "You've got everything to lose now. A grandmother who's fighting to live, a girl who can't stop talking about you, a future that didn't exist a month ago." Marcus felt the weight of those words. "Then I guess I've got everything to fight for." The trap was set 3 weeks later. Marcus, discharged from the hospital, moved into a small apartment near downtown, alone apparently, vulnerable apparently. In reality, there were 6 Hells Angels in neighboring units, cameras on every entrance. A response team 3 minutes away. Razor took the bait on the 4th night. Marcus was watching TV, some mindless show he wasn't really following. When he heard the window slide open behind him, he didn't turn around. Marcus Cole. The voice was gravel and venom. "The hero who wouldn't die. Razor, I assume. Smart kid." Footsteps crossed the room. "You know why I'm here?" "Because you're angry. Because Viper killed your brother. Because hurting me hurts him." "Very smart." Razor stepped into view. He was smaller than Marcus expected, wiry, scarred, with eyes that held nothing human. "Any last words?" "Just one question. Make it quick. Did you really think I'd be alone?" The door exploded inward. Viper led the charge, followed by Diesel, Piston, and a dozen more. They swarmed the room, surrounding Razor before he could raise his weapon. "Hello, old friend," Viper said. "We've been waiting for you." Razor's face twisted with fury. "You used the kid as bait." "He volunteered, wanted to help end this." Viper stepped closer. "It's over, Razor. Your boys are dead. Your club is scattered. You've got nothing left." "I've got enough." Razor pulled a knife. Where it had been hidden, Marcus couldn't tell, and lunged. Not at Viper, at Marcus. But Viper was faster. He intercepted, caught Razor's arm, twisted. The knife clattered to the floor. What followed was brutal, short, final. Razor fought like a man with nothing to lose. Viper fought like a man protecting everything he loved. It ended with Razor on the floor, Viper's knife in his chest, the light fading from his eyes. "For my daughter," Viper said quietly. "For the boy you tried to kill. For everyone you've ever hurt." Razor died without another word. Marcus watched from the couch, shaking as the body was removed, as the room was cleaned, as the evidence of what had happened disappeared like it had never existed. "It's over?" he asked. Viper sat down beside him. He looked tired, older than he had an hour ago. "It's over. The demon riders are finished. Elena's safe. You're safe." He paused. "Are you okay?" Marcus considered the question. He had just watched a man die, had been bait in a trap that could have killed him, had seen violence up close in a way that would haunt his dreams. But he was alive. Elena was safe. Rosa was getting better. "Yeah," he said. "I think I'm okay." "Good." Viper stood. "Get some sleep. Tomorrow, we start the next chapter." "What's the next chapter?" Viper smiled. For the first time it reached his eyes. "Living, Marcus. Just living." Recovery took 6 months. Marcus rebuilt his body with physical therapy and sheer stubbornness. The damage to his spine left him with a slight limp. Permanent, the doctors said, but he could walk, could run eventually, could live a normal life. Rosa's cancer went into remission. The experimental treatment worked better than anyone expected. She was moved from the hospice to her own apartment, with round-the-clock care paid for by the club. "I don't understand," she told Marcus during one of his daily visits. "These men, these bikers, why are they helping us?" "Because I helped them first, Grandma. Because I saved someone important." "The girl? Elena?" "Yeah," Marcus smiled. "The girl." Rosa studied him with eyes that had seen everything in 73 years. "You love her." It wasn't a question. I don't know, maybe. It's complicated. Love is always complicated, but it's also simple. Rosa took his hand. She looks at you like you're the only person in the room, and you look at her the same way. That's not complicated. That's just truth. Elena was waiting outside when Marcus left the care facility. She was leaning against a motorcycle, her father's old bike, restored and gleaming in the afternoon sun. Want a ride? I'm not sure I can handle a bike yet. The leg. You're not driving. I am. She tossed him a helmet. Trust me. Marcus caught it, looked at her, and made a decision. He climbed on behind her, wrapped his arms around her waist, and held on as she kicked the engine to life. They rode for hours, through the city, into the desert, toward the mountains. No destination, no purpose, just movement, freedom, the wind drowning out everything else. When they finally stopped, at a viewpoint overlooking the valley, the sun setting in a blaze of orange and red, Elena turned to face him. I need to tell you something. Okay, I'm not good at this. Feelings, talking. I grew up in a world where showing emotion was weakness, where love was leverage. She took a breath. But you changed that. You threw yourself in front of bullets for me, and you didn't even know my name. You taught me that some people are just good, without reason, without expecting anything back. Elena, let me finish. She stepped closer. I don't know what this is between us. I don't know where it's going, but I know I want to find out. I know I want you in my life, not because you saved me, but because of who you are, because you're kind and brave and you see me, really see me. Marcus thought about all the years he'd been invisible, all the years no one had looked at him, noticed him, cared whether he existed. And here was this girl, this fierce, complicated, beautiful girl, telling him she saw him. I see you too, he said. I've seen you since the diner, before I even knew your name. Elena kissed him. It wasn't dramatic or cinematic. It was soft, uncertain. Two people figuring out something new. It was perfect. 1 year after the shooting, Marcus graduated high school. The ceremony was held on a Saturday afternoon, families crowding the bleachers, the sun beating down on caps and gowns. Marcus's section was different from the others. 50 Hells Angels sat in a block, leather vests gleaming, looking entirely out of place among the suburban parents and grandparents. Viper was in the front row, Rosa beside him in a wheelchair, Eleanor on his other side. When Marcus's name was called, Marcus Cole, graduating with honors, the bikers erupted. Cheers, whistles, engines revving outside, a wall of sound that made the rest of the audience stare in confusion and alarm. Marcus walked across the stage, diploma in hand, grinning like an idiot. He had never had anyone cheer for him before, never had anyone proud of him, never had anyone at all. Now he had 50 brothers, a grandmother who had beaten cancer, a girlfriend who loved him, and a future that seemed impossibly bright. After the ceremony, Viper found him in the crowd. Congratulations, son. Thanks for everything. I wouldn't be here without... Stop! Viper held up a hand. You got yourself here. We just gave you tools. You did the work. He reached into his pocket and pulled out something small, a coin, bronze, worn smooth. This is a challenge coin. Every member of the club has one. It means your family, forever. Marcus took the coin. It was heavier than it looked. I thought I had to prospect first, do the trials. You took 4 bullets for my daughter. You helped us end a war. You've earned this 10 times over. Viper's eyes were warm. You're one of us, Marcus. Whenever you're ready. About that, Marcus hesitated. I've been thinking about what I want to do with my life. And I want to go to college, study social work, help kids like me, invisible kids, kids in foster care, kids nobody sees. Viper was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled. That's exactly what you should do. But the club will be here whenever you want it. There's no expiration date on family. He put a hand on Marcus's shoulder. Go change the world, Marcus. We'll be watching. And if you ever need us, for anything, we're one phone call away. Epilogue. 5 years later. Marcus Cole was 22 years old. He stood in front of a community center in downtown Phoenix, cutting the ribbon on a building that bore his name. The Cole Center, a place for invisible kids. The center offered shelter, counseling, job training, education support, everything Marcus had needed and never had. It was funded by donations from the Hells Angels and a dozen other organizations he'd convinced to care about kids the world forgot. Rosa sat in the front row, cancer-free for 4 years, crying happy tears. Elena stood beside him, engagement ring glinting in the sunlight. Behind them, in a line that stretched down the block, 50 bikers waited to see the place their brother had built. "Thank you all for coming," Marcus said into the microphone. "I know what it's like to be invisible, to feel like you don't matter, to wonder if anyone would notice if you just disappeared." He looked at the crowd, at the kids who had come from shelters and foster homes, at the faces that reminded him of his own years ago. "I'm here to tell you that you matter. You're seen. You're not alone." His voice cracked slightly. "Someone saw me once when I was at my lowest. They gave me a chance, a family, a future." He glanced at Viper, who nodded from the crowd. "Now it's my turn to see you, all of you, and I promise this center, this community, this family, we're going to make sure no kid ever feels invisible again." The applause was thunderous. After the ceremony, Marcus found a quiet moment with Elena. "You did it," she said. "You actually did it. We did it. I couldn't have done any of this without you. You would have found a way. You always do." She kissed him softly, ready for the next chapter. Marcus thought about everything he'd survived. The bullets, the grief, the loneliness, the transformation from invisible nobody to someone who mattered. "Yeah," he said, "I'm ready." They walked back toward the crowd, toward Rosa, toward Viper, toward the family Marcus had never expected to find. The sun was setting over Phoenix, painting the sky in shades of gold and red. And Marcus Cole, once invisible, walked into his future surrounded by people who loved him, not because of what he'd done, but because of who he'd become. The end.